Hey guys, if you're coming from the React land, and I assume if you're watching this video you are, there are great news for us. Hooks have been finally released. Hooks are a way to write better and more readable React, and most importantly, it lets us get rid of class components and state management libraries such as Redux, or at least almost completely eliminate the need to use them. So I want to show you real quick why you should start using them. And I personally am not gonna refactor my old class components, but in the future I will definitely be using only function components with hooks. So today we're gonna be using hook useState, this guy. And I'm gonna show you how it works by building the simple to-do app, which just renders a to-dos, you know, whatever we input here, we press on it, and it gets removed. So I built this app using two ways. So basically there's two files, and we're gonna build two files because I want to show you in depth what's going on. So on the left, as you can see, class app, we build this app using class components. So where class components, that used to called stateful components, are the ones who are holding the state. So for example, you see the class app, this is our whole app, and class to do form, which is our to do form, those need state, and therefore they had to be class components before. So, and this to do is just a function component, so it doesn't have state, so it can be a function. It was before hooks appeared. Now on the right you see the same app built using hooks. You see it's much smaller, like here it's 71 line of code, and this one is, this one is 103, so it's way smaller. And also we don't need class components at all. All our components are functional function components. You see app, const app, and const to do form. So if, you know, just to see visually the difference, like you can see that first of all we don't need to declare state object, we just the structure from an array and use it, right, using the useState function. So we have the to-do list, which will be our state, and set to-do list, which is the function that updates the state. And also if you look at functions, like here the method handle add to do, you see 6 lines of code, right? We can do it all in one line, handle add to do, using this function that sets the state. So, and also we don't need to use these things like this.state, this.state. You see that we get rid of them, and instead we just say handle add to do, so it's way more readable. And also if we look at this form component, you see this handle input change. We see that here it is all in line. Right here, all this error function is passed as an attribute right here. So you see, instead of these fine lines, we do it all in line. So yeah, that's what's up. That's the app that we're gonna be building, and let's just get into it. But first, let me change the font size, because so that you can see more. Hey guys, Max here, coming from the future, just to tell you that there's actually gonna be two parts of this tutorial. The first one, the one that you're watching, will be building a class component app. There's no gonna be hooks in this tutorial, so if you wanna skip and go right into the hooks, then you can go on. I'm gonna post a link down below. You can go straight to the second tutorial, and also I'm gonna post the link to the Github, to the repo, which you can clone just to be with me on the same page. But if you want to watch how I build this class component, you're welcome to code with me. See you. Thanks. Let's start building it. So I'm in the directory, and get into your directory where you want to create your project, and say npx.create-react-app. Let's call it react-hooks. I'm sure if you're watching this tutorial, you you know what to do. Alright, let's cd into our folder, hooks, and let's open VS Code. I do hope that you are using VS Code, because it's just awesome. Let's open our server, npm start. All right, now our app is running. Let me clean everything. Let me delete all the CSS and test and logo, all this stuff. We don't need these guys. All right, let's just return a fragment. Oops. And let's just say lorem 5 words. I forgot these guys. Our app is running. Now let's start with creating our form because it's the main component. This is where user will input the to-do. So since we're building first, we'll building app using class components, using old way. We need a class which will be to-do form extends component, and here is going to be our render method, which will return our JSX, which will be the form. We don't need action. We need, oops, give me 1 second. We need input text, which will be our text. We don't need these guys. Also we need submit button, value add to do. Let's render this component right here. Let's say to do form, and let's see, it is working. This is our to do. Now, the way React works, I bet you know it. I hope you know it. So, whatever we are doing in the DOM, whenever we're inputting here, the React, it should be stored to the state. Okay, React needs to control it. So we need to control the state. We need to create a state object. Oops, state equals to, and we'll say input. Oh shit, what's wrong with me today? Input value. The initial value is just an empty string. All right, let's see. Now, if we go to our DevTools, React DevTools. You see the app and to do form, we click on it, we see our state, input value is an empty string. Now let's hook it up to our input. To do that, we need to create a function, handle input change. We'll pass in an event, which is our actual typing. So here we're gonna set state. I'm gonna say this because we are in the class, the set state. We are passing an object which will say input value equals to target.value. Now let's check it out and let's hook it up here first. Let's say on change this dot handle input change. All right. Now let's see. Let's go again to our to-do form, state input value. You see it is working. So what's gonna happen here is what's the point of this form, right? So we are going to submit the form, and by submitting it has to we will pass this input value as a to-do to our app, to our class. So here we need to create the state where we'll say to-do list, which will be our to-dos, which initially will be just an empty array. Oops, what am I doing? So now let's see, let's reload it, and you see that now our app has state, which is to-do list and just an empty array. So here is going to be a method which we are going to create now. The method will called handle add to do, which will accept the to do, and it will set the state. So we're going to say this.set state. Now we have to use, in this case, set state as a function which accepts a previous state argument because setState is a synchronous method. So the way React works is to be more efficient, it just collects all the state changes together, batches them together, and then updates it asynchronously. So we need to make sure that everything is up to date. So we're gonna return our object. We'll say to-do list. We're gonna collect all the to-dos from the previous state, and we're gonna add the to-do. So this method handle add to-do will be passed as a prop to our form. So to do this dot handle add to do. So now we can use it in our to do. So once we have our input value, we need to create a form submit handler. So handle form submit arrow function, which accepts an event object, which first of all we need to prevent default submission. This is the first thing we need to do. The second thing, let's do some validation. Let's say if there's no this.state.input value, then let's return alert, and let's say, oh sorry guys, I need more real estate. Write something. All right. Else, if everything's good, then we're gonna add to do, and we're gonna say add to do, and we're gonna pass we need to access it from props this dot props dot add to do, because as you can see, this add to do it's passed as a prop, so we have to get it. Or we could also destructure it, but you know, it's cool. This dot props dot add to do, and we are passing it the our state this dot state dot, and you see how many how many times like we have to type this dot state this all this stuff. With hooks we don't need to do that anymore. That's why they're so sweet, you know, that it's better, you know, because React is already, it's a great library, but it just has so much boilerplate sometimes that it feels like it's just too much. So now we're gonna set the state, this dot set state, where we're gonna pass the just the empty string. So meaning this is just once we submit the to do, we're just resetting the input, clearing it out. All right, now let's see. Let's try it out. Let's write something and we submit. Boom. The default submission is not working because, let me see why. Oh, of course, because form, we need to give it an attribute on form on submit. We say this dot handle form submit. Now it should work. Let's get to our React DevTools and let's look it up. Let's add our to-do, wake up. But we also need to set the value, and value would be this dot state dot input value. All right. Now let's see if it's working. It is indeed working. As you can see, we're typing and all our to-dos are saving to the state. All right guys, now it's time to render our to-dos. And to do so, we need to create our to-do component, which can be a function component because it doesn't need any state. So let's say li, and let's render the to-do here, which will be passed from a parent and destructured right here. Okay, now let's go to a parent, to our app component, and let's take care of rendering our to-dos. So first and foremost, we need to check if this.state.todo list is not an empty array. We need to make this check because empty arrays in JavaScript are truth values, so we need to have this check. And let's return a fragment, and inside the fragment the first thing we need is heading. We'll say to-do list, and we need the actual to-dos. So let's create another list, and here let's put some curly brackets, and let's use some JavaScript. Let's say this.state.todo list .map, the great awesome function map that will get us our to-dos. So the first parameter is actual to-do, the second one is indexed. It's going to return a actual to-do. So oops, so we'll say to-do, and in here let's give it few attributes that we need. We need actual to-do, which is a to-do. We need an index, which is index. We need a key, not we but React needs, but we need to provide it. React needs for every list element, it needs a unique key. So it needs it, and it'll have it, it'll get it. Math random will take care of that. And also we need our delete to do function. When we render a to do and click on it, it needs to be removed, filtered from our to do list. So let's say delete to do, and this will be this dot handle delete to do. We don't have it yet, but we are gonna create it right now, right this moment. So let's say, let's paste it here. It'll receive to do to delete. Oh my god, horrible. This dot set state, and we'll take our previous state, and we will, to make sure that our state is up to date, because set state is a synchronous function. So first we'll create the array of filtered to-dos, updated to-do list, and in here we'll take our to-dos, to-do list, and we'll use a function filter, which will pass two arguments. The first one we don't need, so we can omit it by giving it just underscore or whatever, and the second one is the one that we actually need. So index, but let's call it to-do for the readability, and let's give it a test, which the function will test it against, and the test is return the to-do that does not equal to do to delete, and therefore we're gonna get our filtered array, because this guy will not be included. So we're gonna return, and in here we're gonna set to-do list. I will say updated to-do list. What is the problem? Of course, because we don't need guys, this tutorial will have two parts because I'm a little tired, to be honest. I didn't expect it to take this long, and I think it'll make more sense where we can focus more on the actual hooks, because class components are just boring. There's so much typing, and just look at this stuff. I mean, just for this app, for this yeah, thank you hooks for for coming to save us, or at least relieve us and give us some whatever, guys. Okay, now we need to destructure. So we are in the parent, we are passing these four let's save actually these four attributes, right? These are props which we are passing to our to-do component, and in our to-do component we're going to catch it and destructure it. We actually need only three. React needs key. This guy is for React. We don't need it. We need only these: to do, index, and delete to do. We already have to do, and we need our index and delete to do. And what we're gonna do with it, we're gonna pass it to a onClick. To this attribute, we're gonna pass our function, which will be arrow function. Give me a second, guys. I know you can see. So delete to do, and we'll pass index, this guy. So this is what it looks like. This is what it's So this is what it looks like, and hopefully it's gonna work. Let's say to-do list, finish tutorial, eat and sleep, shower and sleep. And let's try to delete it. Boom, 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 boom. But this guy is still here. We don't need this guy actually. Why is this happening? You know why? I know why. Because I forgot to put length. Now this guy's not here, and when we delete our to-dos, this guy disappears. That's it, guys. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna link in the description the repo for this app, for this code, in case you got lost or whatever, or in case you're gonna start from tutorial number 2. And we're gonna continue in part number 2. Thank you, guys, and have a great day or night.